Hi, welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles. But before we get started, a word from one of our supporters.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. This is the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection, and I am your host. And you already know I am that host that is excited about bringing small businesses into the studio, talking about opportunities, talking about how they built their business, where they came from, and where they're going. So we have Mr. Kenzie Perry. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm great. I'm great. Great to have you here. Kenzie Perry. But before we get into Z House, tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
I am a Miami native here. I actually grew up in the Miami Gardens area.
Okay.
I have a love and a passion for art, which developed into design. And I cultivated that through interior design.
Okay.
I also have a bit of a music background as well.
Right.
But I do have a
And
passion.
what area of music?
Mostly singing.
Okay.
I do a
You got a
little-
voice, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I've been told. Play with the piano a little bit as
All right.
well.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about a little bit about me and what I've done, my background, what I enjoy. Yeah, and I guess we'll get a little bit more into. I don't want to give too much away.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to give it all away. So, get the folks learning more about Kenzie. But so you grew up in Miami Gardens. I mean, oh wow, growing up, that community has changed quite a bit. And being a designer, I mean, I'm sure you've taken it all in and seen the growth of Miami Gardens, all the soon to be a town center.
Right.
And that's one of the things we need to talk about, how we can get you engaged with what's happening there.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So Z House, interior design. That I find interior design quite fascinating. At one point in my earlier years, I wanted to be a landscape architect.
Okay.
And I kind of couch landscape and interior design kind of, when you build your exterior, your landscape, you're designing.
Exactly.
And I kind of somewhat put them together. Obviously, they're not. But what made you go into interior design?
So I am a man of many talents.
Okay.
As I said, music was also one of my passions. And the school that I was currently going to, I felt like it wasn't a good fit. And I wasn't learning exactly what I wanted in order to prepare me for the real world. So I thought to myself, what else is it that I enjoy doing? And I was a big fan of HGTV when it first came out on TV.
Right.
So I would find myself coming home after school and just immersing myself in the shows.
Right.
You know,
they are very captivating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think my television knew any other channel but HGTV.
Okay.
And being an oldest child, I had to be the responsible one as well. So when it was time to do the chores, make sure the house is clean, it wasn't just a matter of vacuuming the floor. I would take it a step further and rearrange the furniture and see how I can create a different kind of atmosphere.
Okay.
You know, when you live in a home.
Wait a minute. How did your parents deal with that? They come home and the furniture's moved.
I was good at what I did. So
okay.
So the flow worked well. You know,
right.
Especially when the home is small, you have to find ways to make it feel different.
Right.
Especially if you are committed to living in a home for a very long time. So how do you just kind of spruce it up a little bit? Maybe you'll just put it on a diagonal, but you still want to make sure that the flow is accurate, you know, so you can walk around and it's functional. So it wasn't too extreme. Might just swap the sofas, or like I said, put it on a diagonal and
Right.
just see how it feels differently. So it feels like a new space.
Okay.
So I actually ended up doing my research, and I wanted to go into interior decorating.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that there was a difference between interior decorating and interior design. So I was calling various schools, and I actually ended up coming to Miami-Dade Community College,
Okay.
where we are now. And I studied here for about 3 to 4 years, working part-time. Received my associate's degree in interior design. And then I moved on to Florida International University and continued my education there for an additional 2 years, where I received my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So I've been practicing interior design since 2005, where I received my first internship at a firm in Coral Gables. And I'm still practicing now, in addition to teaching interior design.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned that, interior decorating and interior design is two different animals.
Right.
For our audience, when you want to like give them the difference.
Yeah. So interior design basically is you get a shell.
Mm-hmm.
The space is already laid out for you, and you're pretty much making it. It's a cosmetic kind of application.
Okay.
So you're specifying furniture, you're selecting artwork, the space planning as it pertains to the furniture in that space. That's the pillows, the paint color, the carpet or tile.
Okay.
Cosmetic.
Yeah.
Interior design, which is also referred to as interior architecture, takes it a step further.
Okay.
So you're working with other disciplines, whether they're architects or engineers, and determining where you want the restroom. Where do you want the plumbing? Where do you want to drop ceilings? Where do you want to erect walls?
Okay.
Where do you want to place a door or a window in
Okay.
addition to the cosmetic?
All
So
right.
that's the difference.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I think I knew that, but never really had it broken down like
Right.
that. Yeah. Okay.
And it gets even more technical. Where do you want the height of electrical outlets?
Right.
Do you want it above the counter, below the counter, so on and so forth? So it's taking a step further, much more technical.
Would you find yourself finding a difference in whether you are north or south? For instance, you're in Florida versus Chicago in interior design. The reason I say that because I'm thinking of the cold and the warm, and even in Chicago they may even have floors that are heated. I don't think we would have heated. Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
Not particularly.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I've noticed a difference when it comes to color palettes.
Okay.
So the further south you are, the warmer it is, the brighter the colors.
True.
And the further north you are, it's the total opposite. So I have worked with manufacturers to create collections, and they want to appeal to a broader audience.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up in Miami, walking the streets.
Color is everywhere.
Color is everywhere, exactly. All the houses are different colors, and it feels like the tropics, the Caribbean. But up north, of course, is going to be a little bit more.
Until you go into a gated community, then they're either beige, they're brown, they're off beige,
all white.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will say there is a difference when it comes to that, for sure.
Yeah. One thing, and we're going to take a break in a minute, but I was just up in Buffalo, and I didn't realize that they had metal roofs up there. And like here in South Florida, you're seeing a lot of houses, if the roof is being replaced, or brand new houses, they're using the metal roofs. But I noticed that when I was up there, that there were metal roofs as well. And that was something that I took notice of that.
Yeah.
In terms of the design and the roofing. But we will be right back. We'll catch you on the other side with Mr. Pierre.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm here with Mr. Perry and Z House. He's an interior designer, not an interior decorator. There's a difference, as he explained. Tell me about your business now.
So I've been in business for quite some time,
Okay.
more than 10 years.
Okay.
But I was working full time at the time. So I was doing work on the side.
Right.
It wasn't until COVID happened and I was on furlough that I really took the plunge,
Right.
you know, considering my age and the experience that I have and the time that I had available. I rebranded, named the company Z House Design Studio.
And how'd you come up with that name?
So I played with my name a little bit, Kenzie.
Okay.
Z is also like a pronoun
Okay.
that if you don't know the gender of someone, whether they're male or female, so it's a neutral gender pronoun.
Okay.
And then I use house, which is a German word spelled differently, and put the two together.
Okay.
So I had initially just started posting photos of my home, and I would call that my show house.
Right.
And that's how I got the name Z House.
Okay.
And I just added design studio towards the back. So I've been practicing on my own full time since 2020, excuse me, during COVID. And I got my first residential project through friends of mine.
Okay.
And it was a great room that consisted of a living room, dining, breakfast nook, kitchen, and then common spaces. And that was a pretty big project. And I enjoyed it a lot.
Right.
So since starting the business, I also started incorporating my passion for art because I initially loved art when I was in high school.
Right.
So now what I do is I blend my visual arts with the interior spaces that I design. And I also use the artwork that I create to also develop products. So I have a collection of wallpapers.
Okay.
And the goal, my long-term goal, is to develop wallpapers that highlight the Black diaspora here in Miami, Florida, specifically all of the Black neighborhoods, which consist of Little Haiti, Coconut Grove, Virginia Key Beach, Alapata. So I do a lot of research about the history of Miami by reading books and creating artwork and then developing that into a wallpaper. So you have the wallpaper, you have the interior design, which consists of residential and commercial. My background is mostly in hospitality, so I like to stay in the interior spaces that are a little bit more sexier.
Okay.
And then I also have a collection of carpets, area rugs, with a company called Jamie Stern in New York. That was launched about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it's a collection of 3 rugs, mostly sold to the trade for commercial spaces, but it is available for residential spaces as well. So the direction in which I'm wanting to take the company is more into product design, but interior design is still one of the main focuses.
You know, one thing that I find fascinating that's been developed over the last several years is the new tiles that look like wood.
Mm.
You know, it really fascinates me in the fact that, because, you know, you've had it years ago and you could tell that doesn't, you know, it looks like fake tile.
Right.
But now that tile work is amazing what they're doing. And then all of the granite and the faux granite. What would you say your biggest challenge is?
My biggest challenge is working. I would say it would be translating my design from paper to reality.
Okay.
So you're working with a lot of different people that has to make this tangible item happen. And the challenges are sometimes you're working with people that may not understand how to read construction documents. And then you also have the challenges of budgets. I think sometimes clients don't understand that more than likely, and unfortunately, if your budget is one thing, it's going to be twice as much.
Twice?
It normally is, you know,
Wow.
especially when you start getting into the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Because you start seeing how things are evolving. Do you want to add things, or,
Right.
oh, I thought I wanted to spend this much, but I do want to upgrade it a little bit more. And then the other challenge is timeline.
Okay.
A lot of people think, oh, I want this to be done in 3 months before Christmas.
Everything's before Christmas.
Right. And that's usually probably twice as long. So I would say the challenge is budget, working with the client so they can understand that everything is not going to happen overnight, that it is going to be a process, and also understanding that it's going to feel a little chaotic, but there's always, from chaos, there is clarity, and you can perfect that so that your project looks great. It's just the process. So it's the budget, it's understanding your timeline, and then working with trades to actually bring your vision to life.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
So do you find yourself doing renovations where you're going in a home, knocking down walls? Because again, that's you're redesigning, I guess.
Yeah, I have worked in projects where there's renovations. Most of the projects have been renovations. There's been a few new builds, but I actually prefer renovations. And I also enjoy working with clients who want to incorporate things that they've inherited that might be heirlooms, because I'm not always about just everything being brand spanking new.
Right.
It's always about telling a story and making sure that it feels like your home.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, I've always been a person who appreciates an older home, and you go in and make it your own.
Right.
It's something about taking a house and renovating it, knocking a wall down, opening a wall up, making a window frame bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And and obviously our home, that's where we spend, well, most of our time outside of work.
Right.
And where do you find, speaking of work, do you find a lot of your work may now be home work spaces where people are working from home?
Not really. I would say it's still a matter of kitchens and bathrooms.
Okay.
That's a lot of the renovations that are happening in spaces, especially when it pertains to residential.
Right.
Yeah.
And then kitchens and bathrooms being the most expensive renovation in a renovation.
Right.
Yeah.
So most people are going to update those at least maybe 3 to 4 times in the lifespan of.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
At least if you're there for 30
40.
years, right?
Yeah.
30, 40 years. I think almost every 10 years you're going to renovate your bathroom. If you can afford to.
Wow.
I would say.
I think it's time for me to renovate my bathroom.
maybe the kitchen twice,
No, yeah.
possibly, you know,
Really?
and it depends on the quality.
Right.
You know,
what the products, the materials that you use.
right.
And I guess the vision too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing is, design changes, or I don't know whether to say it's design changes, but the flavor of the month.
Right. Right.
changes.
So it's important that it looks classic, but at the same time, you want something that's unique, that
Right.
speaks about who you are as a person, whether it's incorporating your love of travel, your love of color, or anything else that appeals to you, fashion. You know,
Right.
you can incorporate all those kind of elements into your
Absolutely.
space.
So how would someone get in touch with you?
You can easily get in touch with me online on my website, which is www.ze-haus.com. I'm also on Instagram as well. And you can find me through Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on the directory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, we want to thank you for coming in. I mean, if there are those who are, you're thinking about building a house, you're thinking about renovating your house, you need to check out Mr. Perry. Very passionate about the work that he does. Give us a number again one more time.
My telephone number is 786-556-2016, and the website is ze-haus.com.
Well, this has been the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. If you want to know more about the chamber, you can go to m-dcc.org, or you can call the chamber at 305-751-8648. We'll see you on the other side.
Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-86.